Okay, so find a comfortable position in your chair. You're experiencing these arts, then you have an idea about what you're looking for, but still recognize that you're not necessarily going to get there straight away. Just feel that the chair is supporting you. If you can be forwards in the chair, so feel some of your weight in your feet. That's useful, but it may take you a little while to find the right position. Take a couple of slow, gentle breaths, and just have a sense of drawing your thoughts, drawing your attention into your body, feeling the weight of your body on the chair and on the floor, in the angle of your upper body. Letting your arms rest, feeling the weight of your arms on your legs. Rubbing your hands together. And then with the pads of your fingers, nice and loose in your wrists and your fingers, tapping over your face. And then work up over your head and neck. Down to one shoulder. And your arm. And to the other side. And the upper palm. Lightly going down onto your belly. And finishing with the face. You could do these tapping exercises in any order. I just happen to do it in particular order, finishing with the legs and your feet. And it has, the effect of physically warming you up a little bit, encouraging circulation of blood and energy. Sometimes releasing tightness and stiffness from the body. And there's always this sense of a growing awareness of what's going on. And taking that a little bit further by putting your feet out, sitting back in the chair, and very specifically feeling that you're able to let yourself be pulled into the chair by the pull of gravity. And noticing areas in your body that may be resistant to that. We carry many habitual traits of posture and movement developed in our lives. Sometimes we might find, for instance, that our shoulders remain tight. May find that with your hands resting on your legs, you sort of roll your fingers into fists, or you stiffened up in your fingers, or maybe your toes or your ankles. And one of the things we're trying to do with that tightness is to release it, is to stop that gripping feeling. And one of the ways we do that, one of the important ways in Tai Chi, is to have a sense of it dropping downwards through our body. And at the same time, this feeling of your weight dropping downwards, back, so that the front of your body, belly, solar plexus, chest, and so on, onto your legs, have less need for that tightness. This is the beginning of the process of rooting down. Taking a couple of slow, gentle breaths in this position. Coming back up to the upright stance. The same idea, a little bit more difficult with the upright postures, both seated and standing. But give some attention to how you're supporting yourself. Obviously, your hips and buttocks on the chair are supporting you. If you can be a little bit forwards and tilt forwards just a little bit, you'll feel some of your weight in your feet, so feet and legs are also supporting you. Your back supporting the front of your body, so trying not to hold on tight in your belly, your solar plexus, your chest, ribs. And with that general downward movement, that yielding to the pull of gravity, particularly through the soft tissue of your body, the muscles, the tendons, and so on. The growing sense that there's this stronger structure in and around your skeleton, within your body, continuing to support you even when you're not tight in, say, your shoulders and back. Again, maybe noticing the effect on your breathing. Now, at the same tightness in the body, we simply have more room. So, as we begin to move, when we start just by turning our head very gently, we want to move in such a way that doesn't require a tightening, a gripping feeling. And we want the movement to just gently fill that available space. What you may notice is that with some movements, at least, there is a tendency to strain. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. Sometimes those habits have developed. If, for instance, doing this exercise, it's a simple turn of your head. If at some point you've had problems in your neck, you've probably got into the habit just sort of like pushing a little bit, straining to prepare to move. So don't expect those traits to just fade away in a hurry, but just be aware of them and aware that we're trying to apply this feeling of release and tightness in the body the whole time as we go. Hands in front of the shoulders, pushing your elbows back. So this is where we find an overlap between three aspects of the practice. Obviously, our physical structure, the body, posture, physical movements, and awareness of that structure in relation to the environment around us, particularly the pull of gravity, then going forward, and then the movement, the flow, the energy itself that is enabled by that more aligned, less strained posture. Hands out to your sides, just rotating. And then start to feel in the mind both a calmer quality, because we're focusing inwards rather than letting our thoughts run astray. And also that we can bring a conscious intentional quality to all of them. It's hard to do if your thoughts are elsewhere, shall we say. And then winding your arms around. So you're rolling up and thread still. Go back in the other direction. Letting your hands rest Tilt your pelvis forwards. Notice how that lets your head and shoulders go forwards. More of your weight going into your feet. Pushing down through your feet. Push yourself out. Feeling your weight moving from your hips to your feet and back to your hips. So that your weight isn't just this kind of either an abstract concept or something that is solid and immovable. Through that tensional movement that we're making, we can begin to guide, direct our weight to specific places. And getting used to guiding your weight into your feet is a very useful thing for just everyday ability. And then next time you come back, just turn a little bit in the center of your body, and that directs more of your weight into one particular leg. And as we'll see when we come to the standing in particular, being able to accurately guide our weight to specific places in our body, our feet and so on, makes a real contribution to our mobility. Now turn the other way. And then going forwards by turning that region between your hips and your waist, your weight moving across the first leg and back into your hips, turning, bringing your weight across to the opposite hip. Just your weight moving around in a circular pattern, drawing your head and shoulders. Coming back to the center and then pull one heel up, push the foot out, put the heel down, lower the toes, gently pressing. Measure your step so that you can get the foot down without straining in. It's not a long step. This time, extend the foot, and then once it's down on the floor, put your weight. Sink back into your hips, draw your toes up. Place that first foot, turn towards the other leg, extend out. Heel toes, pressing gently, planting the foot. Just aware of that contact with the ground. These are all things that we're going to bring into the later exercises. We want to bring them into our attention before we get to that. This time, tilting forwards. Wait. One more time. And now, same exercise, but alternating from one foot to another. So let's sort of think about this a little bit. Foot comes back, plant it down, you move your weight across, you turn in the center of your body, extend the other. Just trying to pay attention to all these little details. So now Bring your hands down to your sides. Feel the weight of your arms hanging from your shoulders. Again, turn them palm forwards, knees forwards as you do rotating. Bird fighters. So inevitably at this point, some of those earlier things that we were looking at, like the transfer of the weight, for instance, tend to take up a back seat in our awareness, but they don't disappear entirely. From time going forwards, and then leaving your hands facing back, fisherman casting net. From the side, you'll see I tilt forwards, my arms are delayed slightly. An image that we often use, of course, is we move, that we're moving through water, in which case, if I did this in water, pressure of the water, and hold my arm back very gently, then it would swing through. And the other thing that that image offers us is a way of moving that is quite soft. It's quite a strong way of moving, especially if you do go in water. But the way that we meet the resistance isn't by tightening up, but through this process again of releasing tightness in. We want to try and bring those qualities into the movements. Dry land. So the fisherman cast the net. And then this time letting your arms come over a little bit. Imagine the ball in front of you. Your arms are draped over the ball and you just sit back, drawing the ball in towards you, rather than thinking in terms of lifting your arms. So pull on your arms, feeling the expansion up through the front of your body as you do so, in a way that you would probably miss if all your attention was on your arms and you were just lifting your arms. You feel it here, but not so much in your belly. But the push up comes like a wave, as I said, up through the front of your body, underneath your arms. So again, you can imagine if you were in water, if you had the ball in water, the water would be pushed up by the buoyancy of the water. One more time. This time, as you come up, drawing your hands apart, then you're opening up through your belly, solar plexus, and chest, and then feeling your back expand. Pigeon expands its wings. Once again, as we become more familiar and more experienced in these arts, we can begin to appreciate the significance of those internalized movements. One of the shifts that can be made is to really feel that it's the internal movement producing the external movement, not the other way around. So we're thinking about our intentionality as you come up here. There's an intention to expand in your belly, in your solar plexus, in your shoulder, in your chest. One more time. And then elbows will still go out a little bit, but you keep your hands in line with your hips. Turn them palm forwards. Movement forwards, push your elbows away. And once again, your hands just curving up a little bit and then back. Elbows going out just a little bit. So predominantly a forwards and backwards movement, but if I exaggerate as I come back, see how my elbows go out. So I'm now engaging chest as we did with the previous exercise. So there's a strong push forwards, but a contraction in the chest. Bringing your arms into position. Pushing away. This time, when you come back, turn slightly, say to your left, extend the left foot, plant it down, pushing that direction. More of your weight going into the left foot. Your back, bring the foot in, turn the other way, plant the right foot forward. So as it gets a little bit more complex in the movements, try and make sure that you still retain that awareness of your rooting down. Awareness of the weight shift between your hips and the feet. One more time. Yeah, bringing feet parallel again. Roll your fingers into a hollow fist. This time straight forwards and back. With the rotation in your arm, so here the hand will be palmed down, rotating all the way through the shoulder. Letting your hip come, your elbow come back to your hip, and then just gently extend it out. Don't lock your elbow. So your arms feel like a coiled up spring, which then releases your weight behind it. Had a strong feel to this, but don't grip your fingers tight because that will produce tension all the way back up into your shoulders. But this should have a hollow feel. Do this one more. We're going to go back now to the one of these. We're going to go back to pigeon spreads its wings. So coming back, bringing your hands onto your belly, pushing forwards, expand. Sinking back, changing now to pushing wave. And then punch with both fists. So as we go through this little sequence, the movement of the weight between your hips and your feet is a constant. As is the tilting, straightening up of your pelvis, shoulders. And then going forwards, open your fingers, spread them out again, opening your chest. Press forwards. Drawing in, turning your hands, dropping your wrist down. A bit like doing the breaststroke in some ways, but you're moving your weight back. Don't let your hands come behind your hips. Then there's one hand, you've only got room on this side. As I come back, the hand moves out, drops down, curls in, and then presses forwards. One more time, going forwards, back, pushing forwards. Bringing your hands back, turning them palm down. Turn a little bit to your left, tilt forwards through your spine, just lengthening gently, let that extend in to your hands and your fingers. Turn to the right, draw back, everything contracting into yourself. Change direction, polishing the tail. So your weight moves back into your hips, towards your right, and then you turn, weight moves to the left, and then forwards into the left foot, across to the right foot, and back. You turn in your hips, tilt the pelvis forwards. As all this is going on before the movement reaches your upper body. And then vertebra by vertebra, your spine seems to lengthen. Contract. And then that lengthening going over your shoulders, out through your arms, don't strain in your fingers. In this way, we use more of the body. And again, encouraging the cultivation, that internal movement, that internal energy. One more in each direction. So now, turn your hands palm up. Just let them rest in your lap for a moment. Pressing down gently through your feet and your hips. Feeling the effect of that on your back and spine. Very similar to the last exercise with that vertebra by vertebra lengthening through your spine. And that expansion followed by the contraction, pushing out through your belly, chest, through your shoulders. So once again, a sort of wave-like movement coming upwards through the body, pushing your elbows out as though you're lifting the ball and pressing down. The expansion comes from the center of your body, pushing down into your feet and your hips, keeping that connection to the ground. And at the same time, this upward movement through the upper part. expansion from the soles of your feet right to the tips of your fingers, tracting back in. One more time. This is called rooting down because of that downward movement. Turning your hands out, so fingers point away from the shoulders. Same expansion through the body, but that's slightly different expression through the movement. The wild goose, slightly bigger sense of expansion through your arm. Maybe finding that the imagery, the image of the bird in flight offers qualities of smoothness of movement, perhaps, or grace of movement, fluidity of movement. That gathers attention. We're able to bring imagery more effectively into our bodies, stimulate changes in movement, particularly those internal movements. This time, as your hands come down, ease forwards just a little bit to let your hands come in front of the knees. Sit back, sink into your hips, and then feel the push up, heart in the clouds. The only reason we go forward here really is just to let the hands rush in front of our knees. Heart in the clouds. This time, letting your hands drop down, feeling the weight of your arms hanging from your shoulders. Switching your attention to one side, maybe your left side. Same feeling of expansion as the previous exercise, but just responding on one side of your body. Dragon plucks the stars. Switch your attention to the other side. Feel them push down, leading to the expansion upwards. And then one more time after this. Expanding, contracting, let your arm drop to its full length. Both hands in, this time palm up again. Push up and now just let your arms rotate with the length and in through your back. Your arms push up a little bit and then back. Same thing again, a gentle expansion, pushing down through your hips, pushing your arms up, but letting your elbows drop so that your hands are pushed out to the sides. So we begin to cultivate this sense of a flowing energy within the body, using an awareness of posture and movement, and this is an intentional quality. This time, as you push out, turning in the center part of your body, your hips and your waist, you redirect the hands, turn back to the front, noticing the effect, bringing your attention back to the center, turn in the other direction, getting into the habit of this returning process, which we so often have. Rhythm, flow of the movement follows this pattern of expansion, yang, contraction. So we've got 4 directions of movement. With the 5th, perhaps, this returns. Smooth massaging quality within your body, not straining with the turn. A relatively small turn in your hips makes a great deal of difference to your arms. Then 1 foot, ease forwards, this time sending your hands downwards, so you're scooping water up in your arms. Sit back and throw the water back over your head. Just go scoop in the sea, look at the sky. Make sure this knee isn't locked. Let your hips pull back into the chair. Let gravity pull your hips in the chair, drawing you back gently, expanding in the front of your body. Very soft, loose in the shoulders. And then rolling your fingers into a hollow fist, grasping the tiger's ears. This time, feeling that your back and your head as you're being pushed forwards and upwards. Drawing your arms after you. One more time. Change sides, scooping the sea and looking at the sky. Now changing, grasping the tiger's ears. Once more. And bring. Again, rubbing your hands together. And then tapping over your face. Over your head and neck. Shoulder. Arm. The other side. And the upper part of the face. Light on your belly. And good. And then pushing your heels up. It's getting the muscles of your calves and thighs working a little bit after sitting down. and circling your knees around, so feeling the movement back into your hips. And back up. Okay. Now standing. And much of the feeling of the movements, and particularly the rooting down and the release of tightness in the body, we're looking for again in standing movements, of course. Have your feet directly below your hips, pointing forwards as much as possible. Your weight slightly forwards, and your hips just settling back and dropping down a little bit more, just very carefully with your knees, and then feeling the push up, body expanding and contracting. Just recognizing this first of all in the dropping and the pushing up of your hips, letting your center of gravity drop to root down. Feeling your body sort of growing out of that root. Plant was growing out of its root. And then just feeling again that slight sense of a lengthening through your spine up towards the crown of your head, and then the contracting downwards. Bringing your hands around so you're cradling the ball and rooting down, letting your center of gravity drop, allowing gravity to work freely through your body. Turning your hands out and wild goose. Contracting downwards and then letting your hands drop down. You don't need to go forwards this time, of course. Heart in the clouds. So a little sequence. Same movement in the hips, sinking down and pushing up, but some interesting subtle changes from one movement to another through the upper part of your body that you can gradually begin to become aware of, and let's become more experienced again. These inner movements become far more intentional and become the drivers of the changes in the arms, not the other way around. So we start off copying a movement, of course. We see the arms moving, we see what's happening in our legs, for instance. And as we pay attention to those, we become aware of these subtle changes within the body. And that attentiveness and the intention that goes with it, gradually becoming the mover rather than the move. So again, mind, body, and energy working together. Last time for heart in the clouds. And we're more likely to produce subtle changes through that process of intention if we focus on small changes. And particularly if we're using an image or something like that, but any aspect of intentionality, this is not mind over matter. This is imagining almost, an expansion in a particular part of your body, recalling from memory, those of you who are experiencing this, of a particular feeling that you get with a particular exercise, and with the intention that you're going to reproduce that. So changing the stance, keeping the width of your step, turn one foot out, step forwards, about the same in length as width. Once again, transferring your weight. Really important here, one of the primary intentions is that we want our weight to drop down through a foot. We don't want our weight to go over there somewhere, because then we start finding ourselves in trouble. So being accurate about where the weight goes to, and with the intention of letting the weight drop through the foot. And then when we move out of that foot, we move out of it through the expansion of our leg, not by tilting forwards in our shoulders. So we maintain our posture with the movement. Again, our weight is not a fixed thing. We discovered that in the chair. Our weight can either make it difficult to move, or maybe even a bit hazardous to move, if it goes in the wrong place, or our weight can become one of the things that actually helps us to move. So weight that loads the leg prior to being pushed out. And then when you go into your back leg, raise your toes, so more of your weight going down through the back leg. Have the front toes turned out, go forwards, push your knee forward, back knee forwards to raise your heel. Looking to get an alignment of your upper body directly over your supporting leg here. So this is where we want it to be, like this, not like this, this. And then we're going to put in stepping out, heel, toes, press in gently, move the weight. When you step back, the ball of your foot down, then the heel, then press in, planting the foot. Then sides, keeping the width of your step, transferring the weight. Don't tighten up in your hips or your knees or your ankles. Should feel, we call it filling an emptying sometimes. It's like water dropping down into the sole of your foot and into the ground. Raising your toes and your heel. Stepping in. Planting the foot. And then take a few steps either forwards or backwards. Wherever you have the space to do so. Then going back, changing direction. Check it. Have your right foot forward, so remember my movements. And we're going to start off now with the standing version of Fisherman Castanet. As with the seated version, your arms are trailing behind your shoulders until your weight settles forwards or backwards, and then they just continue to swing through gently. Start from the forward position. Turn your right hand palm down, and as you come back, turn and draw the right hand round in an arc. And then left hand palm down as well. Go forwards. And this is the exercise stirring the beans. Alternating the arms as one hand, one arm draws in, the other one extends out. Turning your body, create circular movement. Don't let your hands stray too far from the body. Some as you come back, let both hands drop down, change to a vertical circle coming up and then down as you go forwards towards your hips. Turn in to swing your arms up and back. Creating a shape in front of you like a sideways figure of eight, or some people like to think of the infinity sign you find in physics and mathematics. Imagine that shape in front of you, just letting your fingers flow through that, guided by the turning in the center of your body, powered, if you like, energized by the transfer of your weight. The body upright, remember. Same three movements with your left foot forwards. So starting with fisherman castanet. Again, noticing that little swing. You're not trying to lift your arms, but you can just allow them to swing up. Doing the changes through your back, your sides, as they do so. And then stirring the beans, coming back. You can imagine you're standing in still water up to the height of your hips, and the palms of your hands are just gently skimming the surface of the water. And then coming down, letting the hands drop down and swing up into the figure of eight movement. Just feeling perhaps that your whole body flows through that shape, not just your arms. And then combining that with the stepping that we just did. So I'm going to go forwards. I turn my front foot out. I sink down as my hands come up and bring my empty foot in. You can do the same thing, start going backwards if you like. Planting the foot forwards or backwards, going forwards. As the arms rise up, the foot comes in and you take the step. And then maybe not just the foot coming in, but coming up. If you feel comfortable with this, it's not a challenge to stand on one leg. You want your leg to come up nice and easy. So if that's difficult for you, just keep your toes down. The pelvis level, the hips sinking back. Be careful of overextending your arms. And then going back. Now bringing your feet parallel and doing the same exercise from side to side. First of all, then have your feet a little bit wider than the hip width. Moving into your left, turning, feeling the expansion up like a wave coming underneath your arms, over into your right, turning, feeling the expansion. This time, when you come across, bring your right foot in. Step out to the side, planting the foot in the back. And again, maybe just raising the knee. One more to each side. Lovely. So go back to your chest. Coming back to the seated position. Again, you can do so comfortably without straining your back. Then move it forwards, letting your hands drop down with the weight of your arms on the shoulders. And then pushing your arms out, a bit like the wild goose. Now bring them around as though you're going to hold a ball against your chest. Just feel the pull of gravity through your hips, your back, your shoulders, drawing your hands in and then down. So if you embrace tiger, return to that last movement downwards in particular. The sense of coming back to a very calm, very settled position. One more time. And then a couple of slow, gentle breaths. And open. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for coming along and joining in and watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you do have any questions or comments at any point, always good to hear from you. Bye.